Hey folks, so welcome back. Today, last chrono reading by the way was 273, so I was shooting about 280, 290. Anyway, that was just a little, this is a blast from the past video where we're going to talk about the WEG-17. And what is its role today now that it looks like the Elite Force Glocks are pretty much going to be the new gold standard in terms of gas blowback Glocks. So it got me thinking. I have not done a review actually ever of this gun before, and I'll do one another time about this. But I really want to talk a little bit more about this gun, just briefly. So this is this isn't quite the WE Glock that originally came back in 2012. This is the lower frame is the original stock part, but this actually has the upper with the HK3 upper slide. It really is a WE, exactly the manufacturing WE, but they just have the full logos on it. So it also is a very quite a bit heavier than say the Elite Force Glock, or really actually even the real Glock, because not only does it got the metal or the slide, but also has the steel garter barrel out front right there, because that's the original one broke. Also, it's got an upgraded steel slide catch, or slide lock actually. I don't really like this stainless steel one. I prefer the black one, but I couldn't really find one at the time, and so I just got this one, and it worked, so it's okay. But I think there's still a place for the WE guns in the market right now in the moment, and it's really because it comes down to the price. Elite Force, they have a really good Glock, a very great system, but that's not to say that the WE isn't just as good. We've seen that under the right the right condition, it shoots really about close to 280, 290. So it shoots a little bit less in terms of FPS compared to the Elite Force, but it's still a very good, strong performing gun. And in my case, I think this one might shoot a little bit less because there's been some modifications on it. But we've seen the other Glocks, like the G19 one. Those have fired about more than 300, more like 315. So it's not really a huge thing in terms of FPS. And the biggest thing, though, that I think is preventing the Elite Force from really surpassing this, the WE, really is that the price range. So a lot of folks are not able, and I've seen some comments in my videos before where they're asking, well, where am I getting these Glocks from, actually? And you can just get them online. Mostly you have to be overseas, of course. This one, of course, I got in the United States initially, because that was before they took them off. But really, for the most part, you have to get them overseas, and there's a lot of different websites out there, whether it be Airsoft Global. You can go to I think it was like Tiger Airsoft 111 or something like that. There's a lot of different sites out there. You just gotta search for them. Army Panda. I can't remember. There's some silly names out there, and it sounds pretty shady, but they've been pretty good. You do have to look, because sometimes, as of all Glocks, for the most part, they sell out pretty quickly. But for the most part, the WEs, they've been floating around for a while, and I think most folks who have gas blowback Glocks in the U.S. they're going to have the WE series. Now the trend might change though, since the Elite Force are coming out, and it's a lot easier to get your hands on one of those than to wait 2 or 3, or actually 3 to 4 weeks for shipment overseas from these. Now, of course, even with the shipment though, it's like $30 to $40 to ship overseas. These run anywhere from about $85 to maybe $120 base price. So you can get them for as low as really about 120 bucks shipped. Mainly the Gen 3 models. The Gen 4 ones are a little bit more expensive, but still, you're going to be able to get them for much cheaper. Whereas the Elite Force one, you're getting them for about $180, maybe $190 with after shipping. So it's a lot more costly, and you're not getting a whole lot more. The biggest thing you're gaining from the Elite Force compared to the WE is that you're getting the full trades. Now it's a little bit unfair in this picture, this video right here, because I have the HK3 slide here. This is more of a customized Glock. I had the original one, but I swapped out a lot of the parts over the years and upgraded different parts. So this is really comes down to my own personal Glock that I've really, hold near and dear to me because I really enjoyed this one. But most of the time, it's going to be, the tactical G17 9x19 on the side. And you might have some like the 19 series might have the word Austria on it, but that's stretching it for some models. So that's really what you're getting with it, and then of course you're buying within the United States. But in terms of the actual weight, the distribution, the model, the look and feel of it, they're really, really similar. I really don't think that if Elite Force continues to charge, that was $180 price range for their Glocks and then for their spare mags. I mean, we've already seen that folks are buying the WE spare mags. As soon as we found out that these work, okay in the Elite Force, folks are really just opting for this one instead of paying $50 for the Elite Force mags. So, if you're comparing the WE to the Elite Force right here, we're going to have to ask ourselves, is it really worth the cost? And so I think for the most part, there's still going to be a niche for those who are a little bit more hesitant to drop the high cost on it. And then those who want more aftermarket options, since there's a lot more available for the WE/Marui series. There's Garter, there's RA Tech, a couple other ones. I can't seem to remember the names right now. I think it was like Angel, something like that. I can't remember. But there's quite a few bit of aftermarket options too. Now, granted, not all of them, exactly fit. There's some tweaking involved in some parts, but sometimes they're drop-in and fits. But whereas the Elite Force one, you're not getting a whole lot more. And honestly, I think it's kind of interesting. I should share this though, and I'll show you a picture in a second. But the sliding color scheme here, if you notice in the picture, it's a little bit off color, right? It seems that the frame's like a solid black. The top part's a little bit of bluish, grayish slide, whereas the Elite Force right here, right? It's pretty much, if I get the same lighting, it's the same. Black on top, black on the bottom. And actually, when I've compared it to the actual real steel Glock at the store, I went to the shooting academy in Virginia, where I'm living right now, and it's actually interesting because this actually holds up better. And I know this is the HK3 slide, but it's still very much the same as the other ones too, and they're very similar to the real steel one. So that's kind of interesting how WE got it right and Elite Force kind of didn't. And it's also, the real one's also kind of shiny too and smooth, whereas this one's a little bit more like sandblasted. It looks nice, don't get me wrong, it looks nice and it's sandblasted and it's textured, but it's actually not as realistic, I don't think, when you put it next to the real steel. So this is a photo of the real steel Glock. It looks a little bit different. The guy at the store was telling me it's a Gen 4.5 technically, but you'll notice that, yeah, the color looks a little bit different from the slide. They don't really quite match. It's a little more the grayish, bluish color. And to the very corner on the left there, you'll notice that slide. That's actually my Glock, my Elite Force Glock that I brought to the store to compare it to it. So again, you'll see the difference there in terms of the color. And here they are again, side by side. On the left, the Elite Force, and on the right, the real steel, just to show you, again, the color scheme. We'll be doing more videos in the future where we really compare them at the shooting range to see, I mean, not the actual shooting of it, but the actual looks of them. It's actually kind of interesting, though, because you notice that even though this one's fully traded, it's not as dramatic as when you compare it to this one. So this is actually something that I think is a little bit more interesting. I kind of like this better, to be perfectly honest with you, because it just looks more distinctive. And don't get me wrong, this is good too, and it's fully licensed and everything like that. But unless that price range goes down for the Elite Force Glocks, I get the feeling that the price range needs to go down for the Elite Force, and aftermarket options needs to be available, because a lot of these parts are proprietary, and you're not going to be able to get them replacement for them easily. So that's my stance on that. So in order for the market share to take over with Elite Force, those things are going to have to change. For the time being, I think these are awesome pieces, and I really think, there are slight differences in them, and I think they're, if you're going to go head to head, Elite Force might win out in certain areas, but in terms of that cost, I think that just doesn't really justify, anywhere from a $60 to $70 increase for pretty much identical products. So that's just my opinion of this. So if you like what you see, give us a like and tell me what you guys think actually, because I honestly, do you guys think like the Elite Force are a little bit overpriced? Those magazines are not really seeming to be worth the cost either. What do you guys think? Do you guys prefer, would you guys feel like the WEs are still relevant? I sure do. But let me know. I'd like to hear what your comments are. All right, folks. See you next time.